Welcome to the franchise. Everybody out there, I want you to nod your head and remember not to let the dogs out. Henry, it's episode 158.
Pretty close.
Is it? That was a total stab in the dark. I'm Daniel
Yeah.
Ehrenberg, your host with the most, Diamond Dallas D-Train. And this is my guest host. He's not a guest host. He's always the host. What's
Making
his
his debut, Hammer and Hank Aaron Papali. How's everybody out there? Welcome to episode 147.
Oh, I was 11 off. We'll get there
Yeah.
later in this calendar year. Henry, we're here to talk about Men in Blacks 2 as well as 3. They took a lot of years between these movies, so there's only 3 Men in Black movies, but they cover 17 years.
Is that right? 17 years.
And even more than that if we're counting all the fun time travel in the third one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, right. Of course. Yeah. And I'd only seen Men in Black 2 once in the theater.
Same.
And never saw 3.
Same. We're on the same page with this franchise.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so let's cover Men in Black. Well, before we do that, we ranked all the Will Smith movies. You want to just start there?
Go for it.
And-
As usual, folks.
Yeah. If you like this segment, you might want to subscribe to the Patreon $5 a month tier, and you'll get all new episodes of Order Up, in which we rank things.
Yeah, a bunch of rankings coming up. It'll be in a few days. We'll be. Should we say what we're going to be?
No,
ranking?
I like it to be a surprise.
Oh,
But we've chosen 4
right.
people. 3 actors and a director,
That's right.
and we're doing it.
Yeah. So-
One of them's a lady. One of them's a black guy. These are clues.
That's right. One of them's an Italian.
Yep. And
One of
I
them's
don't
from
remember
Nebraska.
the other one. Nebraska?
Or Iowa.
We're not covering Alexander Payne, are we?
No, but.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're
he's
talking
from the
about.
Bible Belt somewhere.
Sure. Henry,
Mm.
we ranked Will Smith. So this is a fella who's been around a long time. I want to say I did not include Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on these rankings. It would be very, very high. Maybe number 2 or 3.
I agree. Yeah.
That
Part
show,
of my part of my adolescence. That show. Yeah.
it's a great show. It holds up. I can still watch it
Really?
to this
Yeah.
very day.
Mm-hmm.
If it was not King Joffrey and instead the butler Jeffrey on Game of Thrones, I might like that show.
Oh, that would definitely make for an interesting dynamic.
I should think so. Henry, when I watch stuff illegally, usually it starts with one commercial, okay? And usually it's for cartoon porn.
Okay.
But lately, it's been for Game of Thrones.
Really?
And
so that's porn.
And I really miss the cartoon porn. Because
Yeah.
by the way, I mean the commercials reinforce everything I don't like about Game of Thrones. It's actually for like a Game of Thrones like app game or something.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
so it starts out, you hear that stupid music from the beginning. And then
That's the best part of the show.
and then this lady goes, it's this is Westeros or whatever it's called. What do they call it on that show?
That's one of the places.
But what's like
right?
the planet?
Fucking, I don't know.
I don't
man.
know,
Middle,
but-
Middle Earth. I don't
But they
remember.
say it's like it's a land of dragons and fighting and war. And I'm like, oh,
Accurate.
get me
Yeah.
out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm
Well,
just saying I miss the cartoon porn. Let's start with the Will Smith rankings.
Well, what did you watch MIB 2 illegally?
No, I got to tell you, MIBs 1 and 2 were available free on Crackle.
That's right. That's how I watched them.
I don't know if I've ever watched anything on Crackle before.
I hadn't either. I've done the Tubi for Leprechaun Origins.
Right.
But yeah, I believe this was my first full Crackle movie.
This was
not bad.
I hated it. I mean,
I can handle the ads. and
it's
dumb
got
fade outs.
ads. You gotta skip. You can skip through them though.
Yeah, but
That's nice.
if it's a very particularly artistic movie, it would really bother me because there's some really weird fade outs and cuts. But
It interrupted the flow, man.
Yeah, it was all right. It was fine. It's free.
This movie has heavy flow.
A lot of flow
Mm-hmm.
in the woods.
So I watched on Crackle. I don't remember how I watched 3. Maybe just paid for it on Amazon or something.
Our listeners will love how I watched 3. I did my old standby, which I haven't done for a long time. Library Blu-ray rental.
That's very enjoyable. Man, I was taking a sip. It didn't go down right. Mhm.
No, that sounded difficult.
Yeah. All right. You
What are
ready
you
for?
drinking over there?
Oh, this is Poland Spring Seltzer, Henry. Simply Bubbles.
Oh, that's just this plain one.
Yep.
I tried a new one. It's pretty good. It's kind of a lower rent type thing, but it's Polar.
I don't drink Polar. Polar's gross.
I like Polar. It's turning out to get me. I like it. Polar lemon.
I steer clear of Polar altogether.
All right.
You
All
won't
right.
catch me drinking that.
Neither of us drinking La Croix, everybody. So there you go.
I've got a La Croix in my fridge.
I'm sorry.
I don't mind it. Listen,
Yeah.
I've seen 19 Will Smith movies.
Woo. Yeah. All right. I figured. You go ahead.
You've
Start us off.
seen 11, you said, before we started recording?
That's right.
Okay. If you say something like that before we start recording, you might want to repeat it on the podcast.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't remember what was recording and what wasn't.
I hear you. I hear
It's
you.
all that polar water.
Yeah. So it's sapping your brain cells. So I've seen 19. He hasn't made that many movies, but I've also not seen Will Smith movies in a long time. Like your later Smith oeuvre, I skipped After Earth. I skipped Pursuit of Happiness. I skipped 7 Pounds. I skipped Collateral Beauty. All of these.
Concussion.
Yep, skipped it. I actually had that on my Netflix DVD queue for a little while, and then I never bothered
really?
to get it. Yeah.
I wasn't interested. Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah. So 19, Henry, the worst Will Smith movie of all time is
All right.
Suicide Squad.
Good choice. Very interesting. You had 19. I have 11. No spoilers yet.
But it's last on yours, too? Okay. My number 18 is a terrible animated feature by the DreamWorks Fun Factory, and that is called Shark Tale.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was like a mob movie, but with sharks.
De Niro's in that, right?
I don't remember. I know Scorsese's the voice of one of the sharks.
Oh, maybe I'm confusing him.
De Niro might be in it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Little
biting at me? Something like that.
All right.
My number 17, Henry, is a movie we're covering today, and we'll get to why it's at number 17, but it's Men in Black 2.
All right. All right.
My number 16, a little bit better than Men in Black 2, is The Wild Wild West.
Oh, never saw it.
I know, we talked about it last week. My number 15, a movie I saw on a weird date, iRobot. This was the summer before college, I want to say. And I was in a band, and we had just played a show, and this girl was hitting on me, and it felt nice. And I had a lady at the time, but she was away on a cruise, Henry.
Yeah.
And I let the fame of being in a local band get to my head. And
That's
I went
awesome.
out on a date with this girl to see iRobot. It was very
That's
awkward.
awesome.
Nothing happened, but then I went sniveling back to my girlfriend when she got back from her cruise.
I bet
It was
you
like
did.
night one, Henry. Like she just got back, called to say, "Hey, I'm back," and I was like, "We need to talk."
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Not good, my friend. Not good.
Wasn't great, but we were doomed anyway. I was
Right.
going into college. She was going into like 10th grade or something.
Right. Well, knowing you, sure. Yeah.
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 Took her to my prom. I'll always have
Right.
nice memories there.
Uh,
All right. My number 14, I Am Legend. Another weird date. With a girl I was dating, at my college girlfriend, Liz, and a guy called her a cunt. She turned around and shushed him.
oh, you've told this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And,
yes.
and then I had to move. I don't want to get into blows with this guy.
I like that back then you were different in that now if someone so much as has a screen on, it's are we gonna have a fucking problem?
Yeah, well, I've lost a lot of that patience.
That's great. Yeah, you used to
Or
be more
that's
like,
not even true. I feel like I have more patience now. I just don't suffer fools as lightly.
well, right. Well, it's very similar things. I'm the same way, and maybe you were formerly like Owen Wilson, and now you're more like Ches Palmentieri.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, I don't either. I just wanted to say his name.
My number 13. Hey, speaking of Chaz Palminteri, I mean, this
Uh-oh.
has nothing to do with him, but I watched a movie yesterday that had Hector Elizondo in it.
Oh, perfect.
Hector Elizondo. Yeah, I'd forgotten
What
that
movie?
he's the coach of the Harvard rowing team in the movie How High with Method Man and Redman. Watched that yesterday.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Yeah. All right, my number 13, Henry. A movie I found very charming at the time, and it's Hitch. And I've always thought Will Smith should have more rom-coms in his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't want to do them because he's one of these dudes, like he loves being with Jada Pinkett Smith so much, like he doesn't want to like
Yes.
kiss ladies.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
But he's an actor. Get over it.
I know.
And honestly, Hitch would be higher on my list, except about a year ago, I watched the last half hour of it on cable, and it was like so horrible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe like the beginning of the movie's better. I don't remember.
I don't know. I steered very clear again. Yeah, I don't know. No interest. Yeah.
It's
All
got
right.
my boy KJ. You know I'm a Kevin James completist.
Oh, God.
Watched every
What?
episode of Kevin Can Wait.
Should watch his new stand-up on Netflix.
I did.
No, you.
Yes,
didn't.
I did.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right.
I don't mind James. I don't keep up with his Netflix movies, but I like him as a sitcom actor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul Blart.
I like Paul Blart, Mall Cop. Oh, we got to cover that.
That we do.
Yeah. All right, my number 12 is The Legend of Bagger Vance,
Wow.
where he plays a magical Negro.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
Nope.
That surprises me. I feel like
Why
you'd
is-
have that higher.
I had no interest, man. It looked awful. It looked awful. Plus, I hate golf, so I've never.
What are you
no
talking about? You love Tin Cup.
I didn't love it. That was recommended to me by a coworker of ours, and I watched it, and it was not terrible. It was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
That's Shelton, isn't it? Tin Cup.
Yeah, Tin Cup Shelton. Bagger
Yeah,
Vance
that's-
is Robert Redford, I think.
Right. Well, that would lead you to believe I'd probably watch it, but no, pass.
All right, well,
Yeah.
maybe someday. Maybe someday. It's got Damon. You love that guy.
No, I don't. Who gives a shit?
You love Damon.
I like Matt Damon. He's all right. I don't have any great, No.
Of course.
I-
You are
I
downplaying elements of your taste right now.
No, I'm not. You say things like "I love Matt Damon." That's not accurate. You say something like "I love Michael Fassbender." I'm with you. I love Tom Hardy. There you go.
Damon's
not
better than fucking both of those guys.
You are crazy. Matt Damon's a better actor than Michael Fassbender.
Maybe not Fassbender. Hardy.
Well, you just don't. Well, you haven't seen Hardy yet.
I like Hardy. You know I turned the
Still
corner on
haven't
him.
seen him. I know. You couldn't identify him in a lineup.
No, I
yet.
think I can now after Venom.
Which I saw. Did I tell you that?
I think you did. Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, right?
Totally fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get
See,
all the fucking.
when people
Totally fine.
when people say superhero movies can be fun, they don't have to all be like intense and shit. Some of them could just be stupid. Yes, they can be as stupid as Venom. They cannot be as stupid as Aquaman.
There you go. Interesting. Yeah. No, I thought Venom was a good time.
All right,
Yeah.
we're on 11. This is where you come in, right?
I come in here with one that is stupid and not fun. Suicide Squad.
There you go. All right. My number 11 is another superhero movie, and that is Hancock.
Ooh. God, you really were on a Will Smith train, man.
Well, I think I saw that it was like I was seeing every Peter Berg movie at the time. This is before Peter Berg fell down the rabbit hole with Mark Wahlberg. And so I was a fan of his through like Friday Night Lights and shit like that.
Right. All right. My number 10, I saw this one time in the theater, and he's only in one scene, but I just remember not giving a shit about it, but that would be Anchorman 2.
Henry, my number 10 is a movie I have no memory of Will Smith being in and didn't care for, and that is Anchorman 2.
Such a strange coalescence.
Yeah.
This happens a lot, man. All right. Number 9 for me, I was in college, saw it in the theater. I don't know why. Probably the proximity of the theater and an afternoon with nothing to do. And I remember liking it, but I just don't remember it, so it's low, because the movies of his I've seen are mostly okay. That is iRobot.
Yeah, I did not like iRobot.
It sucks. I just don't remember.
I was expecting more out of it, too, because Alex Proyas directed it, and I feel like that
right.
dude will always give you at least cool visuals, and I felt like iRobot was pretty bland.
Yeah, I just don't remember it. I remember thinking it was an enjoyable experience, but I never saw it again, and I'm sure I never will. But that's 9. What's your 9?
My number 9 is Tony Scott's Enemy of the State, the sequel to The Conversation.
Right. Okay, that'll be coming up. My number 8. So the 4th worst Will Smith movie is Men in Black 2.
Okay. Yep, we'll get to it. That seems to me that you liked it a little bit more than I did.
I think that's possible.
Yeah. Okay, my number 8 is a movie he pops in for one scene, and I do remember his one scene because he's very effective in it. The movie's all over the fucking place, but it's a heartwarming movie, and that is Jersey Girl.
Oh, never saw it.
Yeah, he plays himself.
Oh, look at that.
In a part written for Bruce Willis.
But then Kevin Smith hates Bruce Willis, right?
No, I think he wrote it for Bruce Willis. This is before he hated Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay.
And Bruce, because he wanted to reference Bruno a lot.
Bruno.
Yeah, like Bruce Willis's like blues alter ego.
Oh, yeah.
And Bruce Willis turned it down, and so he rewrote it for it to be Will Smith referencing Fresh Prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you have it. That's a little Jersey Girl factoid for you.
Nice. Very nice. All right. My number 7. This, to me, was a real big disappointment and a big kind of blemish on one of my favorite directors.
Oh, Henry, we're going to have the same one. Go ahead.
Number 7. Yeah, one of my favorite directors. But, boy, did I see this in the theater and was annoyed and disappointed. Ali.
My number 7 is Ali.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
It's not bad, but
it's just by the numbers.
Yeah, listen.
Really by the numbers.
I've seen other documentaries about Muhammad Ali, like When We Were Kings or Muhammad and Larry, and the guy's got one of the most amazing lives of all time. You could do so much with it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's kind of a nothing movie. Will Smith is good in it, and I'll say Jamie Foxx is good in it.
He is good in it. Yeah, it's just a waste. You're better off watching a documentary. It's not one of the sports biopics that does something cool with the tail or anything. Biopic?
Sounds like a surgery. No, it's biopic.
Microscopic. Biopic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You gotta remember, I still have that half, growing up in Canada thing. So I don't know how certain words I'm not sure how to
blame it
pronounce.
on that.
I blame everything on the Canadians and Obama. All right.
Obamacare.
Yeah. So number 7, number 6, Independence Day.
That's too low. I hate you.
Yeah. Wait, I was honestly thinking about how I felt about it on the rewatch, and I only have 11 movies here, so it's not really
I know.
after Ali, these 6 are totally fine movies.
I feel the same way, actually. It's really only my top 6 that I'm kind of into.
Right. Yeah.
I'll say that. Are we doing Independence Day Resurgence? Because he's got his picture in there.
I didn't include it. No.
Okay, me neither. All right, my number 6 is Men in Black 3.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. And here we come to this moment.
Heavy hitters.
Oh, the Will Smith heavy hitters.
Shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
This is not a heavy hitter at all.
Ah,
Actually, none of these 5 are heavy hitters, really, but that's okay. I watched this movie on an airplane to London, and I enjoyed it, but I never saw it again. That is Enemy of the State.
yeah, it's not a heavy hitter at all.
No.
Mine are heavy hitters. Get ready for
oh.
these heavy hitters.
All right.
My number 5 is Bad Boys.
Never saw it, as you know.
Yeah, we got to do those.
I know.
Part of me wants to wait for Bad Boys for Life, the new one, which is called Bad Boys for Life, even though it's the 3rd Bad Boys movie. But
Right.
but part of me wants to just do it tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. All right. What's number 4?
A movie that I think a lot of people hated, but I don't know. I saw it on DVD. I thought it was totally good. I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, that movie sucks.
Okay.
What do you like about that part? At the end when they watch Shrek together?
Don't remember anything about the movie, actually. I just remember watching and being like, this is totally fine.
You'd think I'd like it. I like a lone survivor wandering around movie.
I thought it was all right, man. I never saw it again, but I remember it was saw it on DVD, and I was just like, Jesus, this was a hated movie, and it's totally inoffensive and totally fine.
It's a poor man's Book of Eli.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Will Smith's a poor man's Denzel.
Well, no, come on, they're not similar.
No, they're not. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Denzel doesn't really do comedy. Denzel's not quick with a quip.
I don't know. I know what you're saying, but I'm a Denzel guy through and through.
Well, yeah, me too, but it's weird to
All
compare them. My number 4 is Men in
They're
Black.
both black. That's what.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah.
No, well, they're probably the 2 biggest black stars in the world.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
One can act and the other is not so much.
Okay.
All right. So your number, what are you? Number 4 is.
Yeah, my number 4 is MIB, the first one.
The first one. Oh, this is going to be interesting. All right. My number 3 is Men in Black 3.
Okay. Oh, you liked it. My number 3 is 6 Degrees of Separation.
That's my number 2.
Okay.
I saw that in theaters when I was a teenager. I
You're
thought
old
that was
as fuck.
Yes, I am. I never saw it again, but I remember it being a very good movie.
It's a good play that has
Yeah.
happened to be filmed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember now at that age, I would have only known him from Fresh Prince at that point. So seeing him in a movie was like, oh, that's cool. And he was impressively dramatic.
Yeah, he
All right.
was.
All right. Yeah.
My number 2 is Bad Boys 2.
Ooh, you like it better than the first one?
Oh, it's
huh?
way better than the first one.
Excitable. Okay. And the number 1 Will Smith movie for me is Men in Black.
Okay. And of course, I went with ID4, Independence Day, number 1.
Yeah, I knew it would be. Can you just refresh me? Where did you MIB3 and MIB? What did you put on there? What numbers are they?
Here's where the MIBs landed, Henry.
Yeah.
2 is over here at 17.
Right.
3 is over here at 6.
Right.
And 1 is at 4.
Oh, okay. All right. So we both had a very similar proximity to each other with 3 and 1.
I think that's right.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about it. Men in Black 2, Barry Sonnenfeld, he's back to direct. David Koepp wrote a draft of this to start with, which was apparently unused.
Yeah.
And then the next draft was written by a fellow named Robert Gordon, who had just written Galaxy Quest, so he was a hot name.
Sure.
Okay. He also wrote Addicted to Love, in which Matthew Broderick, stalks Meg Ryan until she gets back together with him, but then decides, oh, no, it's not that. He stalks Kelly Preston, but then...
Kelly Preston?
You don't remember this movie?
I do, but I didn't remember anything about it except that Matthew Broderick was in it.
I believe it's like Kelly Preston has a new Latin lover. She's dumped Matthew Broderick. Broderick camps out across the street with binocs, and Meg Ryan shows up. She's been dumped by the Latin lover, so they've got to break this couple up so they could get back with their exes, but then they decide that each other aren't so bad.
Oh. Sounds great.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
After Men in Black 2, he worked on the Lemony Snicket movie. And since then, all he's got is a story credit on the new animated movie Wonder Park, which has been getting really panned.
Okay.
All right, so that's that guy. He was rewritten, of course, by Barry Finaro, and those two end up with the final writing credits. Finaro is a TV vet, wrote a lot of Golden Girls in the 80s.
Oh.
All right?
Wow.
Yeah. He created the sitcom Platypus Man in the 90s. Remember that show?
No, not at all.
This was one of those like post Friends, like we're all hanging out together sitcoms. And Richard Jeni was in it, who was a hot stand-up at the time.
Oh, all right.
Platypus Man. He also created, Henry, the TV show The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer.
Oh, don't know that either.
Oh, Henry, come on. This was a big show at the time, got canceled very quickly off of the UPN network, the United Paramount Network.
Yeah.
And this was a sitcom. What was it about? It was about Abraham Lincoln's black butler.
Jesus.
All right, Desmond Pfeiffer. So this was a multicam studio audience sitcom that was heavily about slavery.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, so he got Men in Black 2 after that.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, his only credit is I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, speaking of Kevin James.
Well, good on him.
That's a movie I saw in theaters.
I believe you.
Mm-hmm. So they're your new writers. Men in Black 2 was released July 3rd, 2002. They kept with the July 4th weekend release date. A budget of $140 million and a big BO. Boffo BO, $441.8 million. It was number 8 at the box office in 2002, smack dab in the middle of Austin Powers in Goldmember and the first Ice Age movie.
Wow.
All right.
Weird.
Nominated for 1 Golden Raspberry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that, but I'll have that right in a GIF, actually. That is right here.
It's the raspberries, no razzmatazz. All we're lacking is a little pizzazz, 'cause it's the golden raspberries. It's the worst of the worst, not the best of the best. It's pizzazz gone raz.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay.
Laura Flynn Boyle was nominated for Worst Supporting Actress, Henry.
Ouch.
But she lost to Madonna for...
Oh, wait. Let me guess.
You're not going to get this.
2002. Swept Away.
No.
Oh.
She's not a supporting actress in that. That's her movie, baby.
2002. All right. No, I don't know.
You might recall she had a small role in Die Another Day.
Holy shit. She had a role in that?
Yeah, yes, she did.
Wow. I mean, it's the top 2 or 3 contenders for worst Bond song and Bond movie of all time.
Oh,
but
yeah, it probably is the worst Bond song, right? Is there something worse?
I'd have to think about it, but not too hard because right off, it's pretty fucking bad. Yeah. Whew.
So,
in that, okay.
We talked last week about Men in Black had a lot of Twin Towers in it.
Yes.
Now, Men in Black 2, of course, started filming on June 11th, 2001.
Oh, no.
And wrapped on September 23rd, 2001.
I bet it did.
And so that was something they had to reckon with.
Oh, God.
LVP, the Taliban, maybe.
Yeah.
No, shut up, Tim. Really gave us shit for not making Michael Jackson the LVP of the first Men in Black.
Right. Well, I remember, as you recall, I did not see him in the first one. I did not remember. I didn't even see him in those screens.
Right.
So this.
But you saw him in this one. He's got lines.
Disgusting. Yeah. This was an. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was easy for me. I knew it was coming, and I was right. And he's the LVP.
Sadly, those kids didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Shit is the LVP. We just said it right here.
Yeah, LVP for both of us.
You got to be pretty bad if you lose LVP to the Taliban.
That's a good point.
Who are now our friends, I believe.
Are they?
They're helping fight ISIS.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
There you go.
All right, 2002 list real quick.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. We're going to do reactions.
To what? To each other?
We've done this year a lot. So.
Okay, I'll be you.
Well, I guess we read, I'll read mine and do what I think you'd say.
Okay, I'm ready.
Of mine.
I'm ready.
Right, all right. So, number 10 is Spider-Man. Yeah, very good. Good movie, obviously. Yeah.
No, I always say something about the first half being better.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you'd like to improvise my improvisation.
Oh, okay. Number 10, Rules of Attraction. Very good. Enjoyed it. Saw it once in your Boxo VHSs.
There you go. I was waiting for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 9, Born Identity. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't make my top 10. Supremacy and Ultimatum, obviously, but yeah, fine.
Okay. My number 9 is The Piano Teacher. Can't argue with that. Haneke, sure.
Number 8, 28 Days Later. Ugh. Fucking Danny Boyle. Stick your thumb up his ass. Ugh.
All right. My number 8 is Lovely and Amazing. Pussy.
Didn't even see it. Number 7, Signs. Airmail.
Yeah. My number 7 is Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Very good. Honorable mention for me. All right.
Number 6, Bowling for Columbine. Way too low.
I wouldn't say that. It's not that much higher on my list.
All right.
My number 6 is Punch Drunk Love. Ugh. Only bad Paul Thomas Anderson. Okay.
You were delicate to yourself on that one. All right.
Piece of shit.
Thank you. Number 5, heavy hitters. Narc. Really? Fucking Jason Patric, one of our finest actors.
Surely I'd say something about Joe Carnahan.
You maybe, but I saved it for Jason Patric.
My number 5 is Bowling for Columbine. There it is. Okay.
Number 4, The Great Panic Room. Fine choice. Fine choice.
My number 4 is Adaptation. Never got into that. Never got into it. Maybe due for a rewatch. I could reevaluate that one.
Very accurate. Number 3, About Schmidt. That's a great film. And Jack Nicholson's obviously his best performance. So
I don't know about that. I would probably just say, oh, my number 3 is About Schmidt.
Oh, look at you.
There,
Okay.
there you go.
Same number 3.
Yes.
Number 2, Gangs of New York. Yeah, I mean, you take one actor out of that movie and maybe you got something there, but I'll work right.
That sounds like me. My number 2 is Far From Heaven. Boring.
Good call. Good call. And the number 1 movie of 2002, we can both say it at the same time, is 25th Hour.
I didn't partake, but yeah, it's 25th Hour.
I could tell when I didn't hear your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 25th Hour, and that is a perfect movie. And we just brought up Terrence Blanchard, I believe, on our Award Bros show.
That's right. You would know that already if you were subscribed to the Patreon when you heard the latest episode of our patented hit show, Award Bros.
That's right. And I do believe and stand by my remarks that is Terrence Blanchard's greatest score among many, many great scores.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Men in Black 2. Let's do it.
Yep.
They're really trying to capture the zeitgeist. We get an opening shot of Peter Graves doing an Unsolved Mysteries parody.
Very strange, though. I mean, you say zeitgeist. Was Peter Graves in anyone's zeitgeist?
I'm joking.
2000?
I'm joking.
Ah,
Yeah.
got the wry humor there.
Yeah, because
Or
he's
didn't.
insanely old, and
Right.
no one could possibly care.
No, and I doubt most of the audience even knew who that was.
And the last time
Like-
anyone did a good parody of Unsolved Mysteries, it was in the Beavis and Butthead movie.
There you go.
All right. Look, that's what we're doing here. We're having a lot of fun. We're dealing with some flashbacks to the 60s, and so we use like shitty looking stuff, practical effects that actually look a lot better than the horrible CGI that is strewn throughout this film.
Yeah, they really, really are bad. We got to get that out of the way. I was astonished. Let's put the cards on the table. When I saw this in the theater, I fucking hated this movie. I thought it was terrible.
I did too.
I guess I went because I really liked the first one and thought, oh, this will be fun. Nothing more, nothing less. But I really disliked it. I didn't feel that way when I rewatched it. I think I was very, very hard on it.
No, I fucking hate this movie.
Really?
I
Okay.
hated it more than I did the first time I saw it because
That's
now
really
the special
interesting.
effects were bad too.
Right. They are really bad, but I found some things in it funny that I did not think were funny the first time, obviously.
This movie is trash.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So after our Unsolved Mysteries parody, a spaceship comes down to Earth. It seems very imposing, like it's sort of, this is one of those movies that's like the second Austin Powers movie, where it's just the same movie, we're just doing all the same jokes. Hey, did you like that in the first movie? Here it is again.
That's a very good comparison. That is an a perfect actually comparison, right? Because
This is what we were doing with sequels. That's why sequels had a bad reputation at this point in movie history.
But like the first MIB, like the first Austin Powers, has all this funny original stuff in it, and you're like, oh, I haven't seen that before, and then the second one is just gagging itself.
Yes.
And it's just overkill. Yeah.
Because we hadn't yet figured out that the greatest form of art in entertainment is television. And so sequels should just be treated as the next episodes of the first movie. And that's what we do now. Everything is just serialized. And so back then, we were just like, oh my God, the first one made so much money. Let's do a second one. How do we get people to go see it? Well, let's do what we did in the first one.
Yeah, it's very true.
Great idea.
Right.
All right, so a spaceship comes down exactly like the fucking bug in the first one. It comes down in Central Park. It actually looks remarkably like Venom coming down to Earth in Spider-Man 3. And
jeez. Yeah.
But then it's revealed that it's a little tiny spaceship.
Do you think this just occurred to me? And this is probably not a true opinion or observation. Do you think Barry Sonnenfeld was at all trying to go for a sort of Tim Burton-y Mars Attacks thing going on here with the bad effects, or is this actually just actively, intentionally?
No, I think he's trying with the bad effects, like in the Unsolved Mysteries thing. I think he's going for like an Ed Wood kind of a vibe.
Right. Well, obviously,
but I'm talking, but with like the computer effects of like our villain Serlina or whatever. No, that's just. It's 2002. Lazy. I have $140 million. You do it, computer people.
Yeah. I did like the mailroom sequence.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, because I was just going to say that was one of the parts that made me laugh. Go ahead.
Okay, that also had horrible effects, though.
But I didn't care at that point. I liked seeing TLJ, but go ahead.
Okay, so we're introduced to our main villain, Serlina, who is a plant. Then she sees a magazine, a fashion magazine, on the ground in Central Park. By the way, perfectly clean and mint condition magazine on the ground of Central Park.
I thought you were going to say perfectly clean and mint condition Central Park.
Well, that too, man.
And not a soul in sight.
But then this. Okay, so she sees a Victoria's Secret ad, and the Victoria's Secret model is Laura Flynn Boyle, which is ridiculous because she's built like a fucking line.
True, very true.
And Victoria's Secret models, they're busty. They have bodies. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's a good observation. Yeah.
Well, apparently someone else was playing this role, right? I read that.
Oh, I didn't know.
And they had to leave at the last minute.
Oh, so she wasn't.
This was a last-second recast, Henry.
Makes a little more sense. Okay.
Let me see if I can find that out for you on the fly.
Huh. Because, she had kind of passed her expiration date.
Well, no, that's not true.
Movie-wise?
By the way, it was Famke Janssen.
Oh. Ooh.
Which makes a little more sense, right?
I like her.
Death in the Family. She left and couldn't do it. Or maybe she read the script. And no, we got Laura Flynn Boyle. Laura Flynn Boyle's a great actress. She was so awesome in her heyday of the late 80s and early 90s, making a lot of really idiosyncratic choices. She's fantastic. She's great in that. She's great in Twin Peaks.
Right.
She's awesome. I love Laura Flynn Boyle. And
I
then
can't see that, but yeah.
And then she sort of she got on that show, The Practice.
That was it.
And now that she, so she was doing that for about 5 or 6 seasons at this point.
All right.
And that was a hit show, but that was what she had become known for. She sort of like threw away her indie cred, and now she was like kind of only making headlines for how skinny she was.
And dating Jack Nicholson. I remember that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. David E. Kelley at that point was the showrunner on both Ally McBeal and The Practice, and people were giving him shit for giving women a bad body image because he cast Callista Flockhart on Ally
Right.
McBeal and Lara Flynn Boyle on The Practice, and they both are 90 pounds soaking wet.
Right.
And
right.
and I will say it was distracting in this movie. Like Lara Flynn Boyle's body is kind of like it makes me feel uncomfortable.
See, I actually didn't think she looked as skinny as she usually does. But she's wearing weird shit all the time, so it's kind of not really the focus.
Well, she's always just wearing a bra and panties and like a satin
And a coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah.
Yeah, so she becomes Lara Flynn. This plant becomes Lara Flynn Boyle, and the second that happens, before she's even fully Lara Flynn Boyle, they didn't. The attention to detail in this movie. So a mugger comes out and tries to rape her.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
great.
yes, sir. Very, very nice.
Reminded me of Supergirl when
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Watched
Much better
something with Helen Slater, by the way, recently.
Secret of My Success.
No, Ruthless People.
Oh, wow. Danny
Yeah.
DeViet's.
Great movie.
Bette Mids.
Yeah, Bette Mids. And the judge is in it.
All bets are off.
All right. So, but they have the mugger emerge from behind a bush, Henry,
Yeah.
while the special effect is still taking place. So he's essentially running up on a half plant, trying to
Right.
rape it.
Well, Central Park at night.
Yeah.
A lot of weirdos.
Yeah, great stuff. So then we pass over to the subway. Will Smith, there's this giant fucking bug in the subway, and
I didn't mind that stuff.
he's biting a train, and
Yeah. You know what? One of the problems with this movie and 3 and 1 for that matter, which is very distracting, and I can only blame Sonnenfeld. There is this preponderance of fisheye lensing going on, which is just really obnoxious, and it never stops. You know what I'm
there's a
talking
lot of that, and it's usually
My
with Will
God.
Smith. We're getting right up
Right,
on Will
right.
Smith's maw.
Nose, his nostrils. Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah, and but it applies to everything in the movie, and it's the subway sequence is no exception.
But it looks
Yeah.
like trash. Will Smith gets on top of the subway, and if you're looking at it's just green screen to shit. It looks like you're playing a fucking racing video game, like Gran
Yeah.
Turismo.
It reminded me of how good the sequence is from a movie that was filmed, 8 or 9 years earlier in Speed. That subway sequence.
Great point,
And
yeah.
how real that looked.
I mean, and how about this? Another fucking subway sequence that looks not very good, but way better than this from a few years ago. The first Mission Impossible.
Oh,
With the fucking
absolutely.
helicopter in the tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 96, the train sequence. Yeah.
This
Agreed.
looks like garbage. I hated it. All right. Then we go back to Men in Black headquarters. You've got there's product placement in there now.
I did. Yeah, what did they show? I remember noticing that.
There's a Sprint store. A Sprint
Right.
store in Men in Black headquarters. This is a top secret government organization.
We need Sprint.
There's
Jay,
also a Burger King.
get a Burger King.
Who
Jay.
is manning the fucking fries at this Burger King in Men in Black headquarters?
I imagine an alien of some sort.
You're probably right. Also, Nick Cannon's there, so that's fun.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Now, his partner is at this point Putty from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Patrick Warburton. I guess he'll be in your superhero account. He was the Tick.
Yes, he is.
But
Thanks.
he's a guy. I love him on Seinfeld, but I don't have much time for him in other stuff.
I agree. I've always found him pretty annoying, to be honest, and he's no exception here.
No, we talked about this when we did Scream 3 way back when.
Oh God.
Yeah, he showed up in that.
Okay.
So he he gets neuralized, and apparently this has been happening a lot. There's like a one-line throwaway explanation, like, "Oh, this is like what happened when you neuralized Linda Fiorentino. She's happy back at the morgue. Done. Let's not mention her again, even though she was the female lead of the first movie."
That's strange. Yeah, I caught that line too, and you literally, if you don't catch it, that's
Sorry, Men in Black 2 is another one of our series of movies that hates women.
Interesting.
Yeah. Your female lead is in a bra and panties the whole movie, and
Right.
your female lead is just a damsel in distress.
But she's very charming.
Well, because
And-
she's Rosario Dawson.
Right, and because she's in this morass of confusion, she did get my MVP.
I don't have an MVP yet. I'll think about it.
Um,
Okay. So Putty gets replaced as Will Smith's partner by the talking dog, because you liked that one scene in the first one.
yeah, now he's a partner.
So now he's in every scene.
yeah,
Frank the Pug. Will Smith walks up to the car, and there's Frank the Pug hanging his head out of the window playing "Who Let the Dogs Out" by the Baha Men.
yeah, pop culture reference. Did you read about some of the rewrites? I guess the guy originally kept all that shit out and didn't want any references to pop culture, and the other guy said we need more, so he put them all in.
Right.
So it was
I believe it was the fella who wrote Galaxy Quest didn't include pop culture references, and then they brought in this the slavery sitcom guy.
brought Jebediah Atkinson to
Yeah.
add some pop culture.
And there are a
notes.
lot of sweet references in this movie. So after that is when Michael Jackson volunteers to be Will Smith's partner. He says that he could be Agent M.
I couldn't even. I gotta tell you, man. I couldn't even look at the screen. I averted my eyes. Ugh.
By this point, Henry, even not knowing he's a rapist, which we did and had for 10 years.
Long time. Yeah.
But even putting that aside, he looks like a monster.
It's disgusting. He was a.
He is impossible to look at.
Yeah. I agree. You're right. You're right. Yeah. But just added it all up together, and it's just like, they take out the Twin Towers again to link Michael Jackson to the Taliban. They should really take him out of this, any further reproductions of this movie. Just take him out.
I mean, but what about at the time? It's 2002. They're like, listen, seeing the Twin Towers are going to upset people. We should airbrush them out of the movie. And then did anyone say, hey, Barry, do you think that, 7 times accused child rapist might upset some people?
Yeah, no, not a consideration. Not a consideration.
No, just a fun cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
God, couldn't they have gotten Janet? I mean, Jesus, get Tito in there. That would have been funny.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, so
Jermaine.
okay. At this point, Serlina, the Lara Flynn Boyle character, takes over Men in Black headquarters?
Quite easily, yes.
Do you think that Burger King's still running?
I don't know, but then there's that thing that's just sitting there, right? Like this big blob.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. I kept thinking it was going to have some sort of role or voice or importance, and it's just nothing.
It looked like one of those things, when you go to a children's science museum and they'll have little tunnels that the kids can crawl through?
Yeah, it's like styrofoam
Yes.
sculptures or something. Yeah. Very strange. It's just something for Frank to hide in, I guess.
Right. And he's just in a suit, this dog.
He gets to sing Donna Summer.
Does he? What song?
I Will Survive, right?
Yeah,
Or is
of
that
course.
Gloria Gaynor? I'm sorry, that's Gloria
That's
Gaynor.
Gloria Gaynor. Yeah.
I Will Survive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then, this is when he goes to. Is this when he goes to the pizza shop, the pizza parlor?
Sounds about right. Yep.
What happened there? There's like a
Well,
murder.
before the pizza parlor, we meet. Before that, don't we get to meet Johnny Knoxville?
Oh, that's right, Johnny Knoxville. God, Johnny Knoxville playing a character. God bless Johnny Knoxville. He's trying.
You know what, man? In a movie with the Taliban, Michael Jackson, Johnny Knoxville's totally fine.
I like Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, I actually thought you did. I've never had a feeling about him. I mean, I watched Jackass when it first came on MTV. I thought it was pretty funny, but I'm not like a Johnny Knoxville fan.
I've stuck with him a little bit. I saw that movie he did last year about the amusement park. What was it called? Action Park, maybe?
I don't know, man. I remember the bad.
It was
Grandpa.
bad. It was bad. I didn't see Bad, or that's Dirty Grandpa, isn't it? Bad Grandpa's with Robert De Niro. Which is which? Which is which?
Boy, I don't know. You're probably right.
I don't know if I am. Anyway, fucking Knoxville. He's got two heads, right? And it looks like garbage, of course. That second head is just like taped on by CGI.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, there's really a preponderance of carelessness that is just so glaring in this movie. It's beyond its comprehension. I mean, $140 million. I mean, I'm always curious about this, sometimes more than you are, but I'm always wondering who gets what, in the doling of the funds. And so, I mean, what are we paying for? What is all this paying for? Marketing? I mean, Will Smith.
This is the production budget. The production budget's 140, Henry.
Right. So what are we?
Smith is probably getting 20, 25 at this point.
At that point,
yeah.
2000. Yeah. TLJ's got to be getting something pretty big.
Yeah,
Not
probably.
much, but probably pretty hefty.
Listen, they're spending money on special effects.
But George Lucas must have been involved.
No, he wasn't, Henry, because Spielberg sat this one out. He returned as producer for the third one.
God bless Spielberg. Sometimes I got to say that man has an eye. I've seen this before with him. Like, haven't we? Like, we'll see him just absent from the worst installment of something, and then he'll be back, and it'll be like, oh.
Yeah, it's sort of like Spielberg backed out after the first one, and then saw that the second one was horrible, and then years later was like, it was a pretty good idea for a franchise, Men in Black. Let's try to make that good again.
Right. I wasn't around for a while for that second one, but I'm back now. Yeah. Good on you. Even.
So we meet Rosario Dawson. She has zero character traits whatsoever, except she's charming and pretty.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything? Describe that character.
No, she really doesn't. There is no character. I mean, she shows up in the pizza joint as an employee of the month, and then has a romantic esque diner pie with Will Smith.
They fall in love, by the way. They are. We're supposed to think after that diner scene they're in love.
Yeah. Right, it was very fast, and she really for reals, folks. They give her nothing. I mean, she's not given anything. Like even, we talked about Linda Fiorentino, where they gave her some funny gags to do and some funny one-liners and a little backstory. This one, I mean, we get nothing, man.
This makes her fucking character in Clerks 2 look like Lady Macbeth.
Yeah, and the thing is like, that a movie is not good also when you're thinking about so many other things. I've said this many times, but with Rosario Dawson, I swear to God, Dan, all I was doing, I was going, 2002 was the same year 25th Hour came. I wonder if she made this first or if she was hopping in between sets.
Well, she was probably in New York. Yeah, she might have been working on both at the same time.
That was my thought during the movie. Every time she was on screen, I was like, "Oh, I wonder when she was doing the scenes from 25th Hour." Yeah. That's how invested in her character in this I was. Yeah.
Sure. She's honestly got a better character in Josie and the Pussycats.
There you go. I didn't see that. Yeah. Does that have a sequel?
Sadly, no. But they're using those characters on Riverdale now.
Rosario Dawson, currently the girlfriend of Senator Cory Booker.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for that dude. Jesus.
I know. She could be a first lady.
I would love nothing more.
That'd be something.
All right, so he goes down to Florida, is it?
Well, sometimes when you're saying these things, it conflates with the other one because, you said the 60s and Florida now are both in 3. So I'm trying to remember now why you're saying no.
No, to
He's
get Tommy Lee Jones.
He's in Massachusetts.
He's in Massachusetts, right. Okay, so yeah, he goes up to Massachusetts to find TLJ, and he's like, what?
I like this scene.
All right, well, look, I don't like, there's one scene in the first Men in Black movie where Tommy Lee Jones's character, like, uses a satellite to get a look at his wife, who he left to be in the Men in Black.
Right.
And then at the end of Men in Black, he's with the wife again. And
that's true.
And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. Like, it's lovely. And then in this movie, it's just like, we broke up. I was spending too much time staring at the stars.
Yeah, it's a
Looking
real
at
good
the
explanation.
twinkly stars up there.
What the hell was that voice? Wasn't Tia?
No.
Jones?
I was being Jones's partner for the first movie.
Oh, there you go. Got it.
Stars! Look at the stars. So, no, TLJ, he's like, if you can tell me why I like looking at the stars, then I'll be very thankful for that. So he's working as a postal employee, and it turns out everyone else in this post office is an alien.
You get. I thought you'd be happy at least getting to see Biz Markie embarrassed.
I did like seeing that. That was the highlight of the scene. Biz Markie was beatboxing a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Which is apparently a trait of an alien.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Yeah. I thought that scene was kind of funny, and it's strange because it had me thinking a thought that you think sometimes about actors and actresses about, do you like them when they're doing something very out of their persona? So when you get Tommy Lee Jones playing like a meek, confused person, I don't care for it, but is he able to do it? And I think for the short period of time they have him doing it in this movie, it works. But you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like when the superhero loses his powers in a movie. It's kind of like Tommy Lee Jones not being a sarcastic, wisecracking old man. It's kind of like you miss that. So when he comes back to that, it's nice.
Yeah, he gets it back pretty quickly. I mean,
we're
running through plot in this movie awfully fast. This is like a straight-up 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
And, what we've described so far all happens in, like, the first half hour.
It's true, yeah. And I'm not going to criticize the length.
No, nor would I.
Sweet 88 minutes.
Although it's maybe even a little short. It doesn't feel like substantial enough to be a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, nothing's fleshed out at all. I mean, it's just kind of a really, really by-the-numbers thing.
I think I talked about this when we went to see Jurassic Park 3. Where I was like, it's like missing an act or something.
Jurassic Park 3.
That's the William H. Macy, Téa Leoni one.
I believe I didn't rate that very high, right? No.
I don't remember. Anyway.
I thought everyone was obsessed with my Jurassic Park rankings, so I didn't know if you remembered that.
Yeah, right. No, people just think it's crazy that your favorite one's the second one. The Fallen Kingdom.
That's right. Fallen Kingdom for life.
Okay.
Well, that also has a special place in my heart because of what happened in the theater with the guy running under my knees.
Of course. Classic stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So they go back down, I guess, to New York, and they need to like hide Rosario Dawson away for some reason.
Yeah, so they bring her to the worm guys, and they're
because you liked them in the first one, right?
not that much. Yeah. Yeah. It's the old adage of a little bit goes a long way, and sometimes it doesn't.
Those
And,
worm guys are all over this movie.
Yeah, and they're a nice, funny thing in the first one, and in this one, a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, so they have a little bachelor pad they take her to.
By the way, which is completely ripped from being John Malkovich, is it not? That
I mean,
level floor thing
maybe,
going on
maybe.
there. Everyone has to duck their heads in. Come on.
I guess, whatever. Who cares?
Because it just occurred to me when I watched it, and immediately I was like, oh, it's being John Malkovich ripped.
It was like a mini version of the Wild and Crazy Guys from Saturday Night Live.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. So they leave Rosario Dawson there. They say it's safe, but then when Tommy Lee and Will Smith get to leave, when they take off, Will Smith tells her very quietly, very funny joke, don't fall asleep.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Get it? Because if she falls asleep, one of the worm aliens might rape her.
An alien sexual assault.
That's funny.
Very strange line. Yeah, I don't know. Very odd.
They have this. There's a kind of a funny scene where they need to find this key, and they're looking for clues in the pizza parlor.
Oh yeah,
I thought Will Smith was all right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And they.
I mean, Will Smith in this whole movie is like he is in a lot of things he does, which is one of the reasons I don't like him very much. But he's very excited. So he's always very excited to be where he is. So I guess you got to give him that.
Yeah, he's excited. Tommy Lee seems a little bored here.
He really does. Yeah, he really does. Even though I've read that he really has a hell of a time making these movies. But, yeah.
Well, he clearly likes Will Smith more than he liked Jim Carrey.
Oh, right. That's right. You are insufferable.
So they find this civilization living in a locker.
That was cute.
It went on forever.
Yeah. It's long. Yeah.
And we're doing more sexualizing of little CG characters. Where there's
how so?
There was like a red light district in the locker. Everyone's like going to like fuck hookers.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like an adult bookstore or some weird shit.
Yeah.
Very strange. Yeah. But I thought that was kind of funny and cute. Not the adult bookstore thing.
So this middle half hour, they're just like driving around looking for clues and running into characters that we enjoyed in the first movie. So next we get to see David Cross. And is he playing a different character?
I know that I was... I don't know, but I laughed. I thought he was funny.
Well, it's nice to see David Cross.
It's great to see David Cross, and it seems like he was like, if not being part of the jokes that were written at him, he's definitely like being David Cross, and I thought he was hilarious.
He's adding some of his own shtick for sure.
I could have had a whole segment of just him and his girlfriend in that place. That would have been hilarious. I would have dug that. Yep.
Yeah, it was all right. It reminded me a little bit of actually Kevin Smith in Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Very different tone, but sure, yeah.
Right. So they get back into the car. They need it to go fast because they're chasing down Johnny Knoxville, I believe. And it's a Sony movie, so they bust out the navigation controls on the car, and out pops a PlayStation 2 controller.
Yes. They say it as well, right?
I don't remember.
Because I think they do, because I honestly wouldn't have known that, and I think they point that out, like what it is, because Agent K is not familiar with such a device.
Right.
So.
There's also that man that pops up. He's like a fake man, like a white man, and Will Smith says they have that there because they won't get tickets.
The black man was being pulled over too much.
Right. I mean, sure, a little social commentary.
The shoehorn a lot of unfettered ideas into here. Yes.
We
Yes.
get so then we fight Serlina. They chase them to the top of a building. Johnny Knoxville has kidnapped Rosario Dawson and left her at the top of this building where Lara Flynn Boyle is has her in like a spaceship device or something. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
after this point, Johnny Knoxville disappears from the movie, never gets defeated by the Men in Black.
Yeah, very odd. I noticed that too. He's just gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
The main henchman, you might think there would be a confrontation with him, but I guess not.
He splits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I guess to come back in
That's-
future movies because they thought he was
Right.
going to be a real fan favorite.
Absolutely. Toys, the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So at this point, Will Smith is fighting the giant plant that Lara Flynn Boyle becomes, and it holds no weight or tension whatsoever because Tommy Lee Jones is having a very leisurely conversation with Rosario Dawson. So that must mean that there's nothing at stake here, and he knows how to defeat the lady eventually.
Right, because there's really no peril or anything like it, and there's not even like in the end of the first one where we were both kind of like a little down on the cockroach fight sequence, but at least in that one, like it was cool that like Tommy Lee Jones like I got to get my gun back and like jumps into the cockroach and is in there for a while.
it's a fight though
And there's
in that
nothing.
one. It's almost
Right.
like
No, no,
this.
no,
This
right,
one
right.
is just like a shitty conversation
That's what I'm
with like a
saying, yeah.
fight happening in the background, and you have to have this in the background because Serlina looks like garbage. She's just like this mass of vines that are snapping
Yeah.
at you. It's terrible.
Yeah,
and
it's really
finally, also, is it implied that Rosario Dawson is Tommy Lee Jones's daughter?
Yeah, because he was in love with her mother,
Who's like
who
an
was
alien
killed-
princess.
who was killed, right? And then I guess they somehow had a kid in the meantime. I assume it's the daughter, which would have made Will Smith his son-in-law had Rosario been able to stick around.
But
Yeah.
no, they send Rosario Dawson into space on her own to like find her home planet. Like we don't know anything about it. She just
Yeah.
disappears from the movie. And then it was such a big fight all through the streets of New York that we've got to neuralize everybody in New York. It turns out that the torch of the Statue of Liberty is a neuralizer, so no problem there.
Easy.
And then it ends with another one of those weird things I didn't like at the end of the first one, where it turns out that our civilization is inside of a locker, and we get to see a bigger civilization. Whoa, trippy.
Yeah, it's true.
And then we get another Will Smith song, Nod Ya Head, Black Suits Comin', which is weirdly aggressive and like rap rocky. It reminded me of like the fucking shit on like K-Rock at the time, like POD.
POD. Yeah, like that was funny to me. You know, you don't need that. Like, it's kind of one of those things where it might have been nice but we get so into the fucking pop culture of what's going on exactly at the time, especially this movie. Wouldn't it have been nice to like get the original Men in Black song back? Like 5 years have elapsed.
No,
it would have been kind of a nice
it was
nostalgia
such
thing.
a big hit, Henry, that they should have. I mean, I understand the impulse to want to do a sequel to it, and the first song was like about what's happening in the first movie. So the lyrics in this are like, "Gotta fight a plant. She's a supermodel. Gotta fight a plant. She's got little vines on her arms." And that's the song. Johnny Knoxville, he's got two heads. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're wrapping this one up. Yeah, honestly, though, after all this trashing, you hated it and think it's garbage. I suppose this is a strong instance of me not having seen this for, almost 17 years and finding a few things in it that were amusing. So I did not hate it. but it's so slight that
It is
it's
slight
just-
to the point of non-existence.
correct, but it wasn't. It did not. It was not offensive in its badness to me. So it is getting a 2-star
Okay.
for me.
This was one of those movies where we couldn't even have a conversation, honestly. I had too many notes. There were too many things that annoyed me. So I knew this episode was just going to become a laundry list of things that made me angry.
I figured that too.
And so I'm giving
It's okay.
I'm giving this movie a 1.
I am proud of you. I believe that you would have to after what you said. Yeah, but this is not as terrible as I remember it. I thought I was in for a real unpleasant experience, and it wasn't. Besides MJ, I didn't find too many things that were unpleasant about it. But it is not a recommendation. 2 stars. MVP Rosario Dawson.
I'm going to go with David Cross.
Fuck you. God damn it. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll stick to Rosario, but yeah, he was. I had just forgotten about him. Yeah. Both agree on the LVP, and yeah. All right. Is that all you got to say? Because I do have a.
Give me the superhero count.
All right. Here we go. Do you know what that was reference to?
No.
It was The Dark Knight.
Ugh, just do it.
Okay. Johnny Knoxville played Leonardo in the 2014
Jesus.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Who knew?
Yeah, and that's a pretty big role theatrically.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to be Leonardo. That's like the leader, the straight man.
Right, I know. I would have picked a Raphael or Michelangelo, right?
Yeah.
All right, there's only 3 more here. Rosario Dawson, I'm going to give you the first 2 hits at this.
Oh, well, she's in all those, Marvel Netflix shows. Yeah.
That's the
Night Nurse.
That's right. She was also Gale in Sin City in its sequel.
Right.
And in several cartoons, Justice League and otherwise, she plays Wonder Woman.
How about that? She'd be a good Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she would be. And Artemis, whoever that is, probably one of Wonder Woman's cohorts. Patrick Warburton played the Tick in The Tick.
Right, the 90s live-action series. Or
Right.
maybe early 2000s, I don't remember.
And he was in the cartoon The Batman, playing a role of the man named Cash Tankinson.
Sounds about right.
Perfect. Yeah, I could see that. And this one I thought you might actually have set off the cuff, but you didn't. Maybe you tuned out at this point. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. he's in.
Ooh, Warburton?
Yeah.
That's probably after my time.
Plays, General Rick Stoner. They really got this guy down. I'll say that.
Yeah, they know how to use him.
And here is a weird coincidence. For the last
Wasn't he
superhero cast-
Stone in this, too?
Oh, I thought he was just like Agent T.
Oh, you're right. He is. I might be thinking of Scream 3. Go ahead.
All right. In a weird coincidence, also in the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Jeremy Howard, who played the mail sorting alien in the post office, the guy with all the arms, listening to like Jethro Tull, he plays Donatello.
That's insane.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Donatello and Leonardo in this comedy play the 2 serious turtles.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
Very odd.
All right, is that it?
That is it.
Love it. So Men in Black 3, 10 years later.
Yeah, man. Big gap here.
Huge.
Big gap.
Well, Will Smith was trying to get his son's career off the ground.
Oh, that might. You think that accounts for some of it?
I think maybe Will Smith was like working really sporadically in the 2000s, and he was trying to be more serious. He had done Pursuit of Happiness and 7 Pounds and Ali and all that shit.
He was nominated for a fucking Oscar for Pursuit of Happiness. Remember that?
No, I did not remember that, and that's crazy.
Yep.
All right, check out Award Bros on the Patreon. Okay. Sonnenfeld is back. Apparently, they considered not bringing Sonnenfeld back because
Yeah, I read that.
he like sued Sony in between Men in Black 2 and 3 for
like thinking about not using him, right?
yeah. He sued Sony to get bigger profits from the first 2 Men in Black movies, and so Sony didn't want to work with him again, but then apparently he had a good pitch for the third one, and they brought him in.
Yeah.
So David Koepp and Jeff Nathanson did uncredited rewrites, because Spielberg is back to produce, and they're Spielberg people. Jeff Nathanson,
Right.
of course, the writer of the great Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But the only writing credit goes to a fellow named Eitan Cohen, who is an interesting writer. He's worked a lot with Mike Judge over the years
Oh.
on Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill, and he co-wrote Idiocracy. And
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I looked him up. I saw that. I was impressed.
yeah, and then also worked on Tropic Thunder.
Well, there you go.
And that was a big one. He was like big in the development of Tropic Thunder, and since Men in Black 3 has only really worked with Will Ferrell. He's become a Will Ferrell guy. He keeps writing shitty Will Ferrell movies.
Oh, that's too bad because Idiocracy and Tropic Thunder, man.
They're
Come on.
great. They're great.
Yeah.
So most recently he wrote that movie Holmes and Watson, which was nominated for a shit ton of Golden Razzies.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So, but it comes out May 25th, 2012. They didn't go with July 4th. They went with the Memorial Day weekend. A budget of $225 million.
It's a big budget.
Big budget. And a B.O., Bafo B.O.
Is that a new thing now? I like
I've
that.
been saying it all along.
Bafo B.O.?
Yeah.
I don't recall you saying that. Okay.
It's got some Bafo B.O.
Yeah.
$624 million, which is the highest grossing Men in Black, I think, but still like only number 14 at the box office because everything makes $1 billion now. It came right between, made a little bit less than Lincoln and a little bit more than Django Unchained.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Lincoln made more money, huh?
Lincoln was a big hit, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's a great movie, and it's a big hit, so that's nice.
Well, I mean, I would argue that Men in Black 3 is better than one of those two movies, Lincoln and Django Unchained.
Yeah. All right.
All right, 2012 list real quick.
Not real quick. No. It was a good year. I had to redo my list
It's an
because
okay
I couldn't
year.
find my one. I had a lot of honorable mentions. Can I just say a few off the top?
Fine.
Oh, it's such an imposition. I'm sorry. This is 40, Zero Dark 30, End of Watch, Amour, and Your Sister's Sister.
Yep.
Rampart, Avengers, Cabin in
Oh,
the
you're
Woods.
still going. Okay.
It's a good year. All right, that's it.
All right, what's your number 10?
Smashed.
Right. Okay. My number 10 is The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, God. All right. Whew. Sorry. All right.
What happened over there? You take a shit?
I'm taking a breath from that awful placement. That's all.
Oh, it should be higher?
Yeah.
All right.
That's really That's a slight against me. That's what that is.
No, it's not. It's on my list.
A personal affront.
Ugh.
I love it. I love it because of what's next for me.
Okay,
Number
what is
9,
it?
Silver Linings Playbook.
The fact that you didn't have Cabin in the Woods on your list
I know.
is egregious. And you got Silver Linings Playbook at number 9. Smashed, a movie that literally no one but you has ever heard of.
I'm going to stand by Smash. Silver Linings affected me at the time. I really, really liked it. But Cabin in the Woods, probably a better movie. Yeah.
What a beautiful portrayal of mental illness.
I liked it.
All right,
That was a good movie.
My number 9 is Magic Mike.
Yeah, okay. I never saw it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna talk shit about that Steven Soderbergh film that I've never seen. Sure.
I love Stevie, but I have no problem talking shit about some of his films. We've already ranked him, right? Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. Number 8, Zemeckis, Flight.
Okay. My number 8 is Killing Them Softly.
Good choice. Good choice. Number 7, Django Unchained.
My number 7 is This Is 40.
Good choice. Last 30 minutes made me keep it off the list.
That's fair.
Yeah. From our reassessment when we covered it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Check out that episode.
Yeah. Number 6, Killing Them Softly.
My number 6 is Bernie.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. The heavy hitters, and these are some of the heaviest hitters on.
I have some really heavy hitters. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, mine are like fucking Joe Louis. What are yours?
Mine are like fucking the Hulk.
Oh, ouch. That's I can't.
The Hulk
really-
could fucking kick Joe Lewis's ass, bitch.
Yeah, I can't really. I guess I could say Superman.
Let's not get into one of those conversations.
I love those conversations.
Ugh.
Oh boy, I love it. All right, number 5, The Dark Knight Rises.
My number 5 is Django Unchained.
Okay, agreed on that. Number 4, Skyfall.
Okay, Skyfall. Yeah.
One of the best Bond songs.
Yeah, my number 4 is Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh boy,
I knew
that's
that was coming.
not a heavy hitter. Okay. Number 3, Prometheus.
Okay. Speaking of bad CGI, my number 3 is my number 3 is The Cabin in the Woods.
High up there, but I like it. All right. Number 2, Lincoln.
Okay. My number 2 is Zero Dark 30.
Okay. The number 1 movie of 2012 is The Master.
Yep, mine too. Okay.
All right.
MIB 3 opens at a funeral, Henry.
Yeah.
I guess Rip Torn was too much trouble to bring back for this one.
I think at this point, and I might be wrong on the yearage here,
Sure.
he was going through some weird shit.
He was. Now, this is why I put it that way. Too much trouble to bring him back.
Yeah. Well, doesn't he like? This is pure memory. Wasn't he like found like sleeping in a bank lobby or something?
Something like that, yeah. He definitely has a really good mugshot somewhere out there.
Yeah, it was some sort of alcohol-related problem, and is he still alive, Rip Torn?
Rip Torn was smashed, and
I was waiting for that.
I don't know. Where is he? Rip Torn is alive. He's 88 years old. Years young.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. All right.
He was
He was
nominated
still
for an
up-
Oscar. Can you remember? Do you remember that?
For what?
A movie called Cross Creek.
Well, he was a big deal. Not a big deal, but like a pretty famous actor in the 60s, 70s. And yeah, so, all right.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
88 years old, and when he dies, all I'm going to do is send out one quick tweet about how good he was in Freddy Got Fingered.
There you go. Ready? No, Larry Sanders, as we said.
I know. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So we
no
see.
Rip-
So I wanted to touch on the funeral because we get to see a big picture of Rip Torn. And
Oh, right.
don't you have a theme song for that?
I am looking right now. Yeah, I felt like I definitely, because I think Jason Anthony Harris texted me after he first heard it and said it's his favorite theme song of the show. So, oh yeah, Oh my God. I wrote this on Sunday, June 17th of 2018.
Let's hear
If
it.
anyone. All right, here we go.
It's a photo bomb, cause we couldn't get the actors, cause we couldn't afford them, so get on the photo bomb.
It is groovy, man.
Yeah, it's got more like a funk feel. To it.
Yeah, I dig it. All
Thank
right,
you.
so I'm already worried about this movie. No Rip Torn. We get the wormy guys in this opening, funeral sequence. We've got Emma Thompson coming up delivering a eulogy in an alien language, which is stupid.
That was uncomfortable, but I did like Tommy Lee Jones's eulogy.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones is still around at this point, right?
Yeah. Yes.
He's very old. He's barely in this movie.
He really looks old, but I was on board with this movie though.
I wasn't right away. I got on board with the movie.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
it's nice to see Tommy Lee. I just think it's still weird to see that character. I hated what they did to him so much in Men in Black 2.
Yeah, but I didn't even. You're right, but I didn't even think about it. I mean, it's funny though. Did you think that? I mean, I know Tommy's in his early 80s at this point, but it's funny to think how old he looks in this movie, because this movie is only like 5 years removed from No Country for Old Men, and he looks to me like significant.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, think about In the Valley of Ella from 2007. Right. Like, he's still a lead in that movie, and he's playing like someone's dad, but he looks like Tommy Lee Jones.
Right. He's starting to get, like, in this movie, starting to look like Clint Eastwood-itis, where he's just starting to not even look human anymore.
Starting to look like a Tommy Lee bag of bones.
Yeah, but anyway.
Come on.
I didn't get that.
Leave me alone.
Bag of bones?
Yeah, like an old guy.
Oh, okay.
All right, listen.
Jeez, I didn't think it was clever. I'm sorry.
I thought it was clever. I thought you'd like that one, but sue me.
Excuse me.
All right, so you got Tommy Lee Jones. We're introduced to Will Smith. We get to see him in his apartment, and he's playing PlayStation.
Yeah,
it's a Sony movie.
Right.
Also, has a giant picture of Frank the Pug above his bed.
Does. I wonder why they didn't bring back Frank the Pug.
Well, I think they used the same pug in the first two, and he had died by this point. Honestly, I think I read that. But
right, I guess there's a shortage of pugs. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, I was glad they didn't bring him back. And but why is he above Will Smith's bed? When he fucks, does he like to look at the picture of the pug? His former partner?
Look, man, I don't know about what you got going on there behind your bed with the pug and all that when you're going to be doing a nasty, but I like to look at Frank the Pug.
That doesn't sound like Will Smith. That's just a black guy voice.
No, I was really trying to get Will Smith inflection with the hesitations and the...
I hear you. No.
Okay. It was kind of like your Mikey D last week.
Who'd I do? Oh, Michael Douglas? Yeah. I think that was on a Patreon episode. So if you want to hear my Michael Douglas impression, subscribe to the Patreon. So anyway...
Pretty soon this show, the franchise, it'll be like 4 minutes long, and we'll just say anything you need to hear. You're just gonna have to go to Patreon. I'm sorry.
Nah. All right. So what happens in this movie? Can you take a little bit of the plot?
Yeah, I'll try. I'll attempt it. Yeah. So essentially, we go to the moon, and we meet one of the flight.
Right. This is actually how the movie opens. Right.
Yeah, one of the Flight of the Conchords.
Jermaine Clement.
The funny one. Yeah.
Oh, listen to you.
Sorry.
Talking shit about Brit.
I feel. So he plays a Boglodyte called Boris the Animal.
No, he's not Boris the Animal.
I was kidding.
Yeah, okay. He insists on being called Boris. It is very much like a thing in the second and third Back to the Future movies, where if you want Marty McFly to engage with you about something, just call him a chicken and he'll turn around. And in this movie, call this dude Boris the Animal, and you got him right in your sights.
Yeah, and I thought that joke was funny like the first time, and then it's reused.
Well, it's not really a joke, Hank.
Constantly.
All it is setting up the very end of the movie when Will Smith, he's like running away from Will Smith, and Will Smith needs.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in between, it's not a lot. But anyway, he breaks out of prison by getting a poor sap patsy woman to come in there and give him a cake that
yes,
kills all
a poor.
the guards.
By the way, this movie, I again was worried about this movie because the movie opens on the woman bringing him the cake, and this woman is Nicole Scherzinger, the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls.
There you go.
And so I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, well, she dies real quick. And basically, we get some sort of ambiguous backstory here as to Boris is coming back to Earth to find, he wants to take it over, but he cannot because he's angry at Agent K, who I'm sorry, at that point, 40 years ago or whatever.
In 1969.
Took his arm away, right, and deployed an ArcNet to protect planet Earth from people like Boris and the Boglodites. So Boris breaks out seeking a time travel machine that a co-prisoner, fellow inmate, Obadiah something or other, had created. And,
Obadiah Stane.
Exactly what I thought when I saw it. So he goes to Earth to kill Kay and find this time travel machine. And Kay is inexplicably very depressed about this whole situation, and he doesn't want Will Smith to know why. And so Tommy Lee is in the movie for a little bit to set this sort of up, and Will Smith is just trying to figure out why, were you always this dour, or something must have happened, or all that, and he's just like, don't ask questions you don't need to know the answers to, kid, and that kind of thing. And we get a sequence in a Chinese restaurant, which was kind of entertaining.
Yeah, a little racist, a little on the racist side.
A little tad, just a tad. And
it was Mr. Wu from Deadwood.
It's Mr. Wu in this movie.
I know. He's playing a character with the same name.
Oh boy, yeah. But yeah, so they rip that joint up, and Tommy Lee Jones decides after he goes home that you get a sense he's actually going to start talking to Jay and tell him what's going to happen, and before he can really tell him, he hangs up on him, and then this whole space-time continuum thing.
Yeah, it's like Will Smith wakes up the next morning and everything's different.
Right.
Because in the meantime, Boris the Animal has gone back in time because he got the time machine device from Piper's brother from Orange is the New Black. And
that guy from things.
Yeah. And also, by the way, we didn't talk about the deneuralizer in Men in Black 2. We got to see Tony Shalhoub again because we thought he was very funny in the first one.
Oh, yeah. He was actually, I thought he was funny funnier in Men in Black 2.
He was doing his best. All right.
He looks funnier, too. Yeah.
Okay. But the head effect was worse. The head growing back thing looked like garbage.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure.
All right, anyway, so the world is different. Will Smith goes to Men in Black headquarters, and his partner's Will Arnett.
Right.
He has a little cameo. Yeah. And then what happens? There's also this setup where, like, it's implied, like, Emma Thompson. Is that her name?
Emma Thompson.
Yeah, I got screwed up for a second. She's
Agent O.
She's Agent O. She's taking over for Rip Torn, and she apparently maybe has had some sort of relationship with Tommy Lee Jones in the past.
Right. Correct.
That's set up.
And so Will Smith is trying to look into what the hell's going on because nobody knows who he's talking. Everyone says Agent K died, saving the world or trying to save the world back in 1969.
Right.
So,
Nobody knows who he's talking about when he talks about Kay until he talks about him to Emma Thompson, and he has enough details that she starts to believe him about this time travel thing. And then
Right.
there's an alien invasion, and I can't believe it took this long in the Men in Black franchise to get an alien invasion.
yeah, that's very true. I also want to point out I liked when she walks over to tell Will Smith that he can see Agent K, and like this pedestal statue thing comes up. It looks nothing like Tommy Lee Jones.
Right. They all kind of look the same, though.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah.
And he's got glasses. I'm like, what is that?
Well, it's
Shit.
trying to be Tommy Lee Jones in 1969. I think it's trying more to look like Josh Brolin.
I guess it doesn't look like anybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So he goes to who is it? Michael Chernus to get this time machine thing.
The
and,
brother from Orange is the New Black.
Sorry, I only watched the first season. I don't
He's in it.
remember. I don't remember. And I like that whole sequence. I liked it a lot, and I like they go to the top of the Chrysler Building. Couldn't go on top of the Twin Towers for obvious reasons, and I kind of dug the little montage of him falling through time, and like as he's going through time, cute little jokes. You know, a little suicide joke about the stock market crashing, and he's all of a sudden falling alongside all the people who
Oh,
killed
yeah.
themselves.
I thought
By
that was
jump-
pretty good, too.
It was by jumping off the Chrysler. I mean, that was pretty interesting. You know, I thought that was cool. And then we end up in
Yeah, Men in Black
essentially-
3 plays with, like, really hard sci-fi ideas, like all timelines existing at once on top of one another. And it starts to in that scene and then gets more explicit with it when we meet the Michael Stuhlbarg character later in the movie.
Yeah, and I got to say, at this point, I was really into it, man. I was having a good time.
I didn't super get into it until I was starting to get into it at this point, but it really wasn't until we went back in time.
Yeah, when you go back in time.
I got to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been skeptical of Josh Brolin's ability to handle light comedy.
I haven't.
I have, and I didn't know. I always hate this idea of like famous actors playing other famous actors in movies. It's why I've never
okay.
bothered to see fucking Looper.
Oh yeah, well, that's also JGL, but
But it was part of what put me off seeing this. Like, I remember when Men in Black 3 came out, and I was not rushing to theaters because the idea of Josh Brolin playing Tommy Lee Jones did not appeal to me.
yeah. I mean, I didn't I didn't think of that. I just had no interest at the time, but I also just didn't think of that. But he is fucking great.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting to. I really thought he was great in this.
I mean, and you know, I'm sure that he was told, don't do an impersonation, just do like what you think he would have been. But it's an impersonation.
He's totally doing an impersonation, and it's a good
fucking great.
impersonation.
It's
and
really good.
And a lot of times I would worry that he's spending too much time thinking about the impersonation and to the expense of the jokes, but he's also being funny and likable. And, you know, Will Smith keeps bringing up, like, you know, why are you like this? Like, what happened to you later? And he doesn't know because it hasn't happened yet.
Right. And you know, it actually, something occurred to me while I was watching it, and I was thinking that they know each other, Tommy Lee Jones and
From No
Josh
Country,
Brolin.
yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, I bet he had like kind of a lot of time to take him in and like study him. And Josh Brolin does strike me as the kind of guy, like I've seen him on talk shows and stuff, and he definitely is a funny guy.
No,
Very
that I
funny.
don't doubt. His episode of Mark Maron, WTF, is like one of my favorite episodes ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And like so, and I know he can do impressions, and so, but I mean, he was really good, and he's my MVP for sure. And I mean, the wasted person I think is Emma Thompson. You know, I don't really.
Listen, she's there because we need a replacement
gravitas.
for Rip Torn. No, it's not even
Yeah.
gravitas because we're giving her like silly shit to do. We need a head of the Men in Black, and we put her in there, and she's got to be like a love. She's sort of a pseudo love interest for Tommy Lee Jones, but there's so little Tommy Lee Jones in this movie that like it doesn't really add up to much.
Now, who was so they go back in time and they're in 1969, which is all very funny stuff, and they're in Coney Island. Now, who is the actress who plays the young Emma Thompson?
Yeah, and that's a problem too because it's Alice Eve, who was a hot commodity at the time, and I think people kind of thought she was going to be the next big thing. Like she had buzz the way like Margot Robbie did a couple years ago.
Okay.
And like
all
that
right,
Margot
sure.
Robbie buzz like totally panned out. She turned out to be a great actress, and she's definitely a movie star, and she's beautiful and whatever. But Alice Eve, they were like putting her in shit for a while. They popped her in this, and right around the same time, she was also in that second J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie.
Oh, okay.
And it just never panned out, man. She didn't have the charisma. She wasn't quite it.
All right. Interesting. I saw her in a Bryan Cranston movie called Cold Comes the Night.
Where'd you watch that? Netflix?
I don't remember. Might have been a rental.
I think you made it up. I don't believe that movie exists.
I just came up with it right now. No, it's a real movie. I think it was the same year as this movie, actually. So
sure,
there you
this
go.
was when she was getting roles, baby.
There you go. Yeah. So what are we seeing in the 60s? I mean, my personal favorite sequence, I think you'd probably already imagine what it would be, which I got a big kick out of.
Bill Hader as Andy Warhol?
Fucking A. And I don't get enough of this kind of stuff for my snobbiness and cultural sensitivity. Basically trashing Andy Warhol. It was very fucking funny to me. I thought it was handled very funny.
Well, I love Andy Warhol, and I still found this very funny.
You love Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
But I didn't know that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, and Bill Hader's very funny. And then we meet Michael Stolberg.
Bill Hader's very funny. I have one problem with Bill Hader in this movie.
What?
Bill Hader, the best weapons in his arsenal are his face and his voice.
So don't put all that makeup on him.
He's got a prosthetic nose on his face.
Yeah,
in this
that
movie.
was unnecessary.
You don't need it, man. There have been like a billion different versions of Andy Warhol. Crispin Glover played a totally viable version of Andy Warhol with no goddamn makeup. Like,
In
just
The
let
Doors.
Bill Hader do Andy Warhol. It's fine.
I agree, but he's still funny anyway. I mean, we get some stuff in the 60s.
By the way,
was-
Barry coming back tonight.
I didn't ever see Barry.
Oh, you're a fucking nut job.
Yeah, I kind of want to check it out. I didn't know.
It's like the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah, Henry Winkler kind of turned me off of watching
Henry Winkler's great in it.
And is he really?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to mark it down. Barry. B-A-R-R-I-E.
You shut the fuck up. It's actually.
I actually wrote it.
It's with a Y. It's with a Y.
I know. That was a joke.
Okay.
I know. But I did write it down.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, and then we meet Michael Stuhlbarg, who is sort of this weird alien character with only part of a head that lives in all timelines at the same time and can see things coming, except when he can't for the convenience of the plot. And
I think I got endeared to that, too, and this movie because of the 69 Miracle Mets. I thought that sequence was very cool. You remember that?
Yeah, they're in like a diner talking about how much the Mets suck, and he's like, little do they know. Yeah, you're going to be calling them the amazing Mets.
It was very funny. Yeah, I don't know. I really thought this movie was really good.
I like the stuff in the 60s quite a bit. It reminded me a lot of the Wolverine shit in Days of Future Past.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I liked that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
So what else we got? So I did about half the plot there. So what do you Boris basically just going around, and eventually there's two of him.
Well, Will Smith goes back in time to like a day before.
Right.
And he's looking for him, and Boris the animal goes back to his younger self and tells him like what to do to avoid getting his arm ripped off.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. What did you think of Boris as the villain here? Obviously, an improvement on Lara Flynn Boyle, but what did you think?
My MVP of this movie is Jermaine Clement.
Is that right?
I think he's very funny in this. He's doing sort of his voice, but not really, and his mannerisms are very strange. And he's caked with makeup, but the second I didn't know Jermaine was in this movie, and the second he showed up on screen, I was like, oh my god, Jermaine Clement.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I had already done my research, so I knew. But yeah, I like him in it. I didn't think the villain was that great.
Well, I just thought it was clever you're creating a villain here who's like this big hulk of an alien.
Right.
And you're casting a fella that's a little bit outside of the box for that sort of thing.
That is true.
And that worked for me in the same way casting Vincent D'Onofrio did in the first one.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like this movie definitely like got what the first movie got right. You know, it was like a definite throwback to what was great about the first movie, and I thought in certain ways it was better.
I didn't at all. But I felt like, look, you give a shit about the characters in this movie, and we're working with big sci-fi ideas, and that's what you want.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And the ideas were bigger. It was clearly taken more time with.
10 fucking years.
Yeah, right. And I think that the effects were better.
Well, they weren't going to bring Sonnenfeld back, and then supposedly brought him back because he, quote unquote, like had a good take on the material. And I think,
what does that really mean? What do you think?
I think they didn't want to hire him, and then he came in to pitch his version of Men in Black 3, and there were good ideas.
Yeah,
he had good ideas. He knew what he wanted to do with this movie. I think he understood what went wrong with the second one and was willing to fix them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what else? Oh,
well, we get a big climax on Cape Canaveral. There's a scene in fucking Shea Stadium. There's a scene in Coney Island. There's all this shit. We get to a lot of New York landmarks, and then we end up in Florida. And it's a big tower. They're fighting on a large tower, and so we get some shots where it looks like someone's going to fall off, which is exciting. It reminded me of, obviously, the season finale of Season 5 of Buffy.
Obviously.
And
it reminded me of Casino Royale, that opening sequence on the construction site.
Sure. That's great, too.
But I liked I did like the dual fights. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Brolin's fighting one of the Borises, and Will Smith's fighting the other one, and I mean, all that shit was pretty cool.
Although the idea that they went up to NASA and they were like, hey, we have this strange alien device that we want to put on the space shuttle to the moon.
Right.
Can we do it? And NASA's like, oh, sure, just go up there and pop it on there.
No, that's not what happened.
It is.
No, because Stolberg tells them to tell the truth, which utterly fails. And so they do that. And then they have no choice but to put the neuralizer on Luke Cage. And
that's right.
And then only then does he acquiesce to them doing that. So they hypnotize him into doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't just let him do it.
All right, so they finally defeat Boris and by calling him chicken, and then they the space shuttle's a success. Spoilers if you've seen First Man, and then we get back down there, and so Tommy Lee. Well, no, it's not Tommy Lee Jones. It's Josh Brolin. James Brolin. Josh Brolin is talking to this like black fella who's like. And trying to like recruit him to Men in Black. He thinks he's like a real good soldier. And this guy is kind of interested. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets shot and killed. Josh Brolin rushes to the car. And in the car is young Will Smith.
Look at that.
And so it turns out that all this time, Tommy Lee Jones is just protective of Will Smith. Because he's sort of a father figure. And you know what? It's stupid, but it lines up with what we know about these characters. This is a way, the the thing you have to understand about superhero comics is they go, they've been running for like 60 years or whatever, and writers have to come on with new takes for these characters. And
Yeah.
a billion other people have written these characters. So their take has to somehow seem new. It has to be like a new story, but also line up with like 60 years of continuity. It's an insanely daunting thing. And I think what this sequence does pretty well is it's something that clearly wasn't intended when this franchise was created. It's ridiculous, but it lines up with the characters. And it was
it's a weird.
heartwarming.
It was, but it is a weird retrofit. So like any time. Sorry,
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. What is the word I'm looking for though?
Retrofit is good, or retcon.
Okay,
yeah,
retcon. Yeah. So now, though, when I go back and watch the first Men in Black and then skip 2 and go right to 3, I have to remember that the original Men in Black, that this all happened. So the relationship, the dynamic between how Will Smith is picked and their relationship and their banter is very like almost it's a paternal thing going on there.
Yeah.
So that's a little strange, but it's. Since this is the final one of this section of MIB, I guess it's not something you have to think about too much. I mean, you don't need to like, if someone's never seen these, you don't need to be like, well, whatever you think about the first one, you got to realize that their relationship is more going on there. I mean, it's not necessary.
I think in their heads with this movie, they're wrapping up a trilogy. And so we're going to go back to the origin, which, is what trilogies tend to do at the end. So that's what happens. And, after this, they tried to reboot the franchise, but, never with Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith again. This was their last hurrah.
Now, do we know that in Men in Black International, which is coming out in June, which is one of the reasons we're doing this, is that totally unrelated?
We don't know.
No one's leaked anything.
I think it's in the continuity, but I don't I don't think it's a reboot. But I don't know that we're gonna see any characters from these movies. So yeah, for a while there, James Bobin, who he directed most of the episodes of Flight of the Conchords, was attached to do the Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover. And now that is not happening. We got Men in Black International coming up by F. Gary Gray, which worries me.
Yeah, it worries me too. I'm actually, as we speak, looking at his filmography.
Oh, Emma Thompson plays Agent O in it.
Oh, all right. All
okay.
right, so a little continuity in there. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you give this movie?
I'm going to give this a very positive 3 stars.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. I really had no idea what to expect from this, and I did not suffer from Men in Black fatigue.
Nor did I. Yeah, I felt re-engaged in Men in Black as a franchise, which I guess is what you want if we're making a another one.
It's true, and the other thing is, often on our show, I mean, I'm not sure how many times in a trilogy or anything, quadrilogy, whatever, that the second one is so bad that the third one comes back so strong. Like that specifically, from 3 to 2. It certainly didn't happen in Lethal Weapon.
At the time, that's how Oceans felt to me, but I appreciate 12 more in hindsight.
Yeah, not to me, but right, for you, yeah. So anyway, 3 stars. I'm giving Brolin my MVP.
Understandable. I'm giving it to Jermaine.
Okay, yeah. My LVP, I sort of like you in the prior one, I wasn't, or no, you hadn't decided an MVP for it. I'm not really sure yet. I thought everybody was really strong. I loved Michael Stolbarg. I liked, I don't know.
I'll give LVP to Alice Eve.
I'll go along with that. She's kind of just almost like a Miss Moneypenny.
Yeah, I was checking the screen, by the way, to see if there were any problematic people that were aliens. But I didn't see any. I saw Lady Gaga was up there.
Oh yeah. I caught a glimpse of her, and it was very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick. Yeah. Problematic people. All right. I got a 5 count on the superheroes.
All right, hurry up. I'm losing steam here.
Well, they're good ones and they're quick.
All right, go.
Jermaine Clement was in Legion.
Yes, yeah, that's right. He narrates that fucking show. Yeah, good
Played
call.
Oliver Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michael Stolbarg. I did not remember this. He was in Doctor Strange. He played Nicodemus West.
I gotta be honest, I don't remember much about that movie.
Neither do I. I liked it.
I remember that. I liked it.
Yeah. Mike Coulter, of course, is Luke Cage in all the MCU Netflix stuff. Michael Chernus, I didn't remember him in this either. Spider-Man Homecoming, he's the Tinkerer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember that only because I love the Tinkerer, and I was so excited he was in the movie. He's a great early Spider-Man villain. I think his first appearance is like Amazing Spider-Man #2 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, the guy who played Mr. Wu, an actor named Keone Young. He, unsurprisingly, was in the cartoon Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, playing several voices I wrote because they were like 4 characters, all Japanese characters. It's great. And he was in the 2017 cartoon of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playing the unforgettable character Jai. And that is it.
Okay. Glad you saved the best for last on that one.
Yeah, I did. I really went in a great order there. That was really well done.